Stop. Before this video goes any further, I need you to answer one question honestly. Not for me. For yourself. Have you ever looked at your life, the job, the relationships, the apartment, the achievements, the people who love you, and felt absolutely nothing? Not sadness. Not gratitude. Just nothing. A strange, quiet emptiness in the middle of a life that is supposed to be full. And then immediately told yourself, stop it. Nothing bad happened to you. You have no reason to feel this way. If that question landed somewhere in your chest, stay with me. Because what I'm going to tell you in the next 13 minutes is why that emptiness is still there. Why you still feel broken, even though nothing happened. Why the life you built has not fixed what you thought it would fix. And why, no matter how hard you try to fill it, it has followed you into every room you have ever entered. Every single day. Here is what makes this particular pain so hard to carry. When something bad happens to someone, there is language for it. There is permission to be hurt. People show up. People understand. The wound has a name, a cause, a story you can point at. But when nothing happened, you get none of that. No language, no permission. No one showing up, because from the outside there is nothing to show up for. So you learn to carry it alone. You learn to seem fine. You get so good at seeming fine that eventually even you stop questioning it. Until a drive home. Or 3 a.m. Or a moment in the middle of an ordinary Tuesday when something in you asks, quietly, almost without sound, is this it? Is this all it is? And you have no answer. Because nothing happened. So there should be no question. Before I go any further, I need to say something that might take a moment to actually land. The feeling you just recognized? The one you have been telling yourself you have no right to feel? It has a name. It has a cause. And it is not your fault. Let me show you exactly what it is. There is a specific kind of childhood wound that leaves no visible marks. Psychologists call it childhood emotional neglect. Not abuse. Not the kind of neglect anyone talks about. Something far quieter. A home where you were fed, clothed, kept safe, where your parents loved you, tried for you, provided for you, where from the outside everything looked completely fine. But inside that house, your emotional world was invisible. Not attacked. Not dismissed with cruelty. Just not seen. Not asked about. Not given room to exist. You would feel something, fear, excitement, sadness, longing, and the room would stay exactly as it was. Nobody turned toward you. Nobody asked? The feeling would sit there for a moment, looking for somewhere to go. And because there was nowhere, you learned to put it somewhere inside yourself where it would not inconvenience anyone. You did this so many times. So automatically. So completely, that eventually, you forgot you were doing it. And the feeling never stopped building. Dr. John Webb, the psychologist who first identified and named this pattern, studied thousands of adults who came to therapy with the same complaint. I have everything I need. I should be happy. But I feel empty. What she found was this: in almost every case, the emptiness was not a disorder. It was not a chemical imbalance. It was not a flaw in their personality. It was the accumulation of years, decades, of unfelt feelings. Emotions that were never witnessed. Never validated. Never allowed to move through and out of the body the way emotions are designed to do. That accumulation? That is what you are carrying. That is what feels broken. Now here is the part that changes how you see yourself. The signs of childhood emotional neglect do not look like damage when you are living inside them. They look like personality. They look like just the way you are. The things you have probably spent your whole adult life thinking were character flaws, quirks, failures, things you were just born with. They are not. Every single one of them makes complete sense. Let me walk you through them. You find it almost impossible to know what you are feeling in the moment. Not just difficult feelings. Any feelings. Someone asks how you are and you genuinely search for an answer, and come up with fine. You can read every person in a room before they have said a single word. You are extraordinary at sensing other people's needs, moods, discomfort. But your own inner world? That you cannot read at all. There is a voice inside you that never stops criticizing. Not loudly, quietly. A low, constant hum of, not enough, too much, be smaller, be better. And it does not matter what you achieve. The voice is still there. Unmoved. You give to people with a fullness that surprises them. But when someone tries to give something back, care, attention, help, something in you tightens. Closes. Says, no, it's fine, I don't need anything. Even when you are desperate for it. You feel most real when you are alone. Not because you do not love people. Because being around people requires a version of yourself you have been performing so long that you no longer remember putting it on. And underneath all of it, that hollow feeling. That quiet sense that your life does not quite fit you. That you are watching yourself from a slight distance. That you are doing everything right. And feeling almost nothing about any of it. I want to pause here for a moment. Because if any of that described you, and I suspect more than one of those did, you might be feeling something right now. A strange combination of recognition and grief. Like something is being named for the first time that has been with you for years. That feeling is important. Hold on to it. Because what I am going to tell you next is the part that actually explains where all of this started. Here is the thing that is hardest to hold. Your parents loved you, and they failed you. Both of those things are completely true. At exactly the same time. And the reason this has been so impossible to process is that you were never given permission to hold both. You were taught, not in words, but in everything, that if someone loves you, they did not hurt you. And so you could never acknowledge the hurt without feeling like a traitor to the love. So you buried the hurt. Called it nothing. And have been carrying it quietly, every single day, for years. They were not bad people. In most cases, they simply could not give you what they had never been given themselves. The emotional attunement they did not offer you was not available to them either. They passed on an absence they did not know they were carrying. And that does not make the wound smaller. It makes it lonelier. Because there is no one to be angry at. Just a quiet inheritance of absence, passed from one generation to the next, that arrived in your life before you had any say in the matter. You were a child with an emotional world as full and complex as any adult's. You needed that world to be seen. Not fixed. Not managed. Not redirected. Just witnessed. Acknowledged. Given space to exist alongside you. That did not happen consistently. And so you did what every intelligent, survival-driven child does, you adapted. You made yourself easier. You learned which version of you was welcome in that house. And you led with that version. Every single day. Until it became the only version you knew. The psychoanalyst Donald Winnicott called this the false self. A version of you built not from who you actually are, but from what kept you safe. What kept the peace. What earned you love in a home where love felt conditional on your behavior. That version got you here. It got you through childhood. It earned you every relationship and achievement you have built. It is not something to be ashamed of. But here is what it costs you. When you spend long enough performing a version of yourself, you forget where the performance ends and you begin. You stop knowing what you actually want. What you actually feel. What actually matters to you, outside of what you were taught to want, feel, and care about. And that distance, between who you are and who you learn to be, that is where the broken feeling lies. Not in your circumstances. Not in what you have or have not achieved. Not in something wrong with you. In the gap between yourself and yourself. Stay with me for the next 2 minutes. Because I want to tell you something that might be the most important thing you hear today. Not a solution. Not a plan. Something much simpler than that. Something that, if you let it land, might be the first honest thing you have ever been allowed to say about what you have been carrying. You have been telling yourself for years, nothing happened. That you have no reason to feel this way. That other people have it worse. That you should be grateful. That the broken feeling is a flaw in your character. Some failure of gratitude. Some proof that you are simply not built for contentment. Every single one of those thoughts was a lie you learned to tell yourself so the pain would fit inside a life where there was no permission for it to exist. Something happened to you. It happened quietly. In the spaces between moments. In the feelings that were never asked about. In the child who learned to need nothing, because needing things felt like too much to ask. In the years and years of performing fine until fine became the only thing you knew how to be. Something happened. And you are still broken inside because of it. Every single day. But here is what changes everything. Broken does not mean unfixable. Broken does not mean worthless. Broken does not mean you will feel this way forever. Broken, in this case, means something very specific. It means the mechanism you built to survive childhood is still running in adulthood. And it is breaking down. Not because you are doing something wrong. Because it was never meant to carry you this far. You are not too sensitive for this world. You are not ungrateful for a good life. You are not failing at something everyone else finds easy. You are an adult carrying the invisible weight of a childhood where your emotional world was not given the space it needed to exist. That weight is real, even when nothing dramatic happened. Especially when nothing dramatic happened. The first step is not healing. Healing is a long road and it comes later. The first step is only this, allowing yourself, perhaps for the first time, to stop saying nothing happened. Because something did. It was quiet. It was invisible. It left no marks anyone could see. But you have known it was there, every single day, your entire life. And now, at least, you know what it is. If you want to take one small, concrete step today, here it is. The next time someone asks you how you are, and your automatic answer is fine, pause for 2 seconds before you say it. Do not try to come up with a better answer. Do not search for the right feeling. Just pause. 2 seconds. And notice that the pause feels uncomfortable. Notice that fine wants to come out immediately, automatically, without thought. That discomfort? That is the mechanism. That is what you have been running on for years. You are not trying to fix it yet. You are just, for the first time, noticing it is there. That is the beginning. That 2-second pause. That is where everything starts to change. If this described someone you love, someone who performs fine while something in them quietly searches for an answer they have never been given, share this with them. Not with a message. Just quietly leave it somewhere they will find it. That is enough. And if you want to understand not just what you feel, but where it came from, what it built inside you, and what it looks like when it begins to change, subscribe. That is what this channel does. Every single week.